Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for being here. I missed you. It was unbelievable. How was it when I was gone? Did the Olam come to the Medrash? Yeah? There was the food every day? Not so? Good? Okay. Gewaldig. If you weren't there, I don't want to make you jealous or anything. All I can say is start saving up money for next year. It was so kedai. It was the best money spent, the best $1,000 that you've spent. It was unreal. Every moment, every second. You were only part of the share for a month and a half. You made it there. So geschmack. Whoever was there still has a lost voice. There's no shot. You can't. By the way, I gotta tell you. Yisrael Goldstein, I said this last night. He came over to me and said, listen, I want to tell everybody had their part, their person that they met, the story that they heard. Maybe make the volume a little lower. He's not used to the thing yet. He said one thing that really got him was on Shabbos morning, Doylem was singing, and I asked Doylem, I stopped, I said, listen, could everybody in the room join? We had 850 people in the room. There were a bunch of women also, so I don't know how many men. Maybe let's say 650 men or whatever. But the room was so large that Reb Nachman Seltzer didn't want to speak in the room. He was supposed to speak Friday night. He didn't want to speak. He said it's impossible. It really is impossible to speak to such a large room, so many people. And when you get up to speak, everybody in the side couldn't hear. Paris Chaim Levine was speaking. It was hard. He said, "Okay, let's sing, but everybody together. Let's do something that nobody in this room has ever done." And we sang V'hoya Hashem L'melech. I think we should sing at least one thing. Boys, you ready? But with heart. I'm telling you, it's the words. People were crying on Shabbos. It's awesome, right? Right, Hillel? I don't even know how to do it. V'hoya Hashem L'melech al kol ha'oretz. V'hoya Hashem L'melech al kol ha'oretz. Hoyoy ba'yoy ma'hu Hashem Echad, Yeh Hashem Echad, Ushma v'voyechad. Shkoyach. It was beautiful, beautiful. Endless stories. We'll have a whole year full of stories. Ask people that were there. Every minute, every speech, every piece of food, nothing went wrong. It was mamish siyata d'shmaya she'en kamoyu. It was chizuk and enjoyment from the moment you walked in. I never said this. Every single person came out that walked into the hotel got a hug from Yossi Klein. He sat there at the door for 3 hours. But the siyata d'shmaya. Boisai. Here's a chayal on the way to some. By the way, does anybody know what is going on? The bombs. Did anybody hear these bombs? Yeah. No, but what is going on? These are louder than ever. What is going on? Huh? No. This morning there were a bunch at 5:30. Last night, what is going on here? They're demolishing Gaza. What are they doing? What? But it's louder than always. Yeah. Is everybody in the bomb shelter at 3 in the morning? 3:30? Yes. 3:30. They do it with Afka. 3:30. What happened? I leave for a week and this is what you guys do. What's going on there? Welcome back, Reb Michael. How's the ankle? Replacement. Ankle replacement. Okay, we have a bunch of guests. Let me just say real quickly. Reb Menachem Atel, who's next to you? Shalom Aleichem, what's your name? Shalom, you. Yeah. Yaakov Meir Feldman. Why are you so familiar? What's your name?
Alvin Oppenheimer.
So I know you from somewhere.
Yes, we met in 5 towns.
5 towns. Okay. Givaldi. Who else? You're new. Ritzi? Kleinberg, you're next. Hold on a second. Is he going from? Mem Shalosh. We might have to open up a base marriage over there. There's so many people that come. What's your name?
David Harder.
Ah, so you're first, really. You should have been first. Very nice. Well, you schlepped him or you schlepped you? Really? That's where you look familiar. Was it Givaldic? Did you come over to me? Did they say hello to you?
Very busy.
1 minute. There was a guy on my flight that came over to me.
Ronnie Apfel came over to you last night.
He was talking about you?
Yes.
Oh, what a small world. Did he know you're here in Eretz Yisrael?
Yes.
Comes over to me and says, my good friend was at the Shabbaton, he loved it, but he didn't come over to say hello to you. So I'm coming over to say hello to you. So it's you. Were you shy or just it was too many people? I made a calculation. If I had to say hello to 850 people, that's 850 minutes, no? No, it's just not enough time. I said, okay, whatever, I feel bad. Shimshon. Oh, Shalom Aleichem. How you doing, Shimshi Feder? You're making a Shalom Zacher, beautiful. You wrote me an email? I'm not exaggerating. I have 200 emails in the last 2 days, since Shabbos. Over 200 emails. I physically couldn't read them. I read every single email. I'm going to go over. I don't even know where to start. Just through. Breakfast today is sponsored by Rabbi Schoenberg. Refuah Sheleyma. Hayalda Miriam Rivko Bas Fredel Esther. Refuah Sheleyma. Do we want to know more? No? Okay. I don't know if I showed this in English or not. Did I show this yet? Without sound, right? Let's see if the sound today. Shragi Rubelo is his name. That's first of all.
The person who made this possible by Cohn, my Rabbi, Eli Stefansky. For most funny jokes, told mean jokes, he makes everyone laugh and most of all enjoy the Torah.
Okay, so the rest you'll listen to yesterday. I know I could have posted this message so many times since last week, as I think the scene was just 1 day ago, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, etc. Now I just think to myself that this time last week I was on a plane about to land soon for the Shabbaton experience. There are a few people that I really try to get to come. Last year was Mark Ashkenazi. I sat on the phone with him for 20, 30 minutes because of the whole war matzah. He decided he doesn't want to come. It's not appropriate, and I convinced him to come. He's thanked me dozens of times since then for convincing him. And here's another person that I really wanted him to come. Dove Harris, and here he's admitted. I really wanted Leon Welcher to come, but he let me down. It's not the first time, Leon, but Be'ezer Hashem, it's the last time. The next year you're going to be there. Well, next year in Yerushalayim, Abnuya. We all know that the same, that no words, all beyond expectations, the wow factor of every aspect, the fact I can truly only use this group to post and share this series. He didn't write this to me, he put this on the group. Because no one would really understand it. No one would really understand it, it's true. No one would really understand it. Thank you all. The one thing that I was worried, and everybody I know that was there last year, were a little, not worried, concerned, knowing that this year is not going to be as good as last year. It's impossible. The emotions that we had last year, it's just the beginning of the war, and nobody knew what's flying, what's going to be. And a lot of people backed out of it because it's not appropriate to be there. The Gdolim said we could do it, just we can't play Lebedik music, only this kind of music, remember this? And all the speeches were a little heavy on the matzav, and people were crying and laughing. How are you going to outdo that? And I think we outdid it. I really do. I think everybody that was there, in almost every aspect, it was outdone. And that was the amazing thing of it. This group, thank you all. I wouldn't be honest if I didn't admit to having feelings going into the Shabbos and starting with Kabbalah Shabbos that it won't be like last week. We need to take the best and the highs we had and reflect them on the rest of Klal Yisrael. Can't wait to share the third Beis Hamikdash with you. With no doubt, last Shabbos helped us speed up. It's coming. One of the biggest things that I heard over and over is people saying, what achdus, what the variety of Yidden there, and everybody getting along together, everybody sitting on the same tables, dancing together. And I heard from women, usually you go on a Pesach program, you go to a hotel, it's very nerve-wracking. What are you going to wear? And you have to have an outfit for every meal. It was none of this. No, nothing. Just pashtas. You come, you enjoy the ruchnias. Women didn't care about anything, how you look and how you dress and who you are. It was none of that. It was mamish like a bunch of people told me that. It was not about the Joneses. It was about just coming here and enjoying. And I think hopefully we can get that message out to the women, because many men couldn't come because of their wives. Women naturally like, who am I going to speak to? I don't know anybody there. I don't want to come. And that was the thing. You know what I'm talking about? And if we could overcome that, and it's not funny, it's a metzias. Can't wait to share the third Beis Hamikdash. Good Shabbos all, and please reach out directly for anything you ever need, particularly be it MDY related. Maybe I shouldn't read this out loud here. Dov Harris, London. Yishkoyach of Dov. I have to say, Rafi Katan owns a service called Royal Airport Concierge. He didn't ask me to say this, obviously, but he went out of his way and he picked me up from the airport and picked me up here in Ramat Bet Shemesh with a beautiful, brand new, very shiny, professional driver, schleps your luggage, does the whole thing, took me through all the airports here, all the airports in America, every stop, and I had a lot. And I'll tell the Olam yesterday, I told the Israelis, this is how it goes, like the shiurim are difficult. And Shapsi Cohn, the guys, they said, maybe we should do it a little differently. Start the Masechta, and a week later do a Shabbaton. Because we had 6,000 new people, and here they come and the shiurim are like, some of the worst shiurim. Who said yes? Painful shiurim? Thank you, Elvis. I appreciate it. I can always count on you. Yet, on Wednesday morning, I had to get up. Let's just say I have to prepare a shir, right? I didn't even see the daf. At 6 o'clock, I was giving the shir. So whatever hour I got up, I'm not going to tell you what hour I got up, but I got up really early. 6 o'clock, I'm giving the shir. I'm done with the shir. My wife says the taxi's waiting outside. It's still dark outside. It's before Vasikin. It's a 2-hour difference, Utah and New York. So we have a flight. Let's say it's 9 o'clock flight. We get there. That means it's 11 o'clock in New York. By the time we landed in New York, it was after Shkia in New York. That's my day. I get to New York to my brother, light candles, sit down and give a shir in English. I'm not done with the shir in English. My wife is already in. She's opening the door. She says, the taxi's outside. You gotta go to the airport. Get to the airport, to JFK. Yeah, sit there in the people, that. Flies delayed a little bit. Get on the flight, a whole 10 hours. Get to Eretz Yisrael on Thursday night after Shkia at 8:30. 9 o'clock, I had to give shir here. That is the life on the road. It's not easy, it's not fun, and the shiurim are not very good. So, stay in Israel. Real quickly, I just want to read this email. A very interesting story of another day on how I got... This guy was in MDY during a trip to Kivrei Tzaddik in Vienna hotel, not being able to fall asleep because the AC in the hotel room was not operating, and my roommate was watching Rebelli the entire night on a very low volume with the assumption I don't hear. This is a guy not doing the shir yet. It was days before the start of Bava Basra, and Rebelli kept giving the typical new Masechta encouragement message with classic reasons of why to join the daf. After hearing this over and over, all night long, I decided I'll give it a shot, and Baruch Hashem, I've been dafing ever since. Baruch Hashem, I'm enjoying the most amazing shiurim by Rebelli, even though it still had not changed my life as of yet, and still have lots more to improve, but that really gave me the most amazing gift of shir, kavua, Dvar Yomi, hoping to continue to grow and be able to share soon more life-changing things I've taken on. I've been doing the Daf Yomi several cycles for a few years. I even gave a shir in the Daf 5 days a week, and Fridays and Shabbos we skipped, as it was not practical for the group. We all needed to do it on our private time. Needless to say, that did not really happen. Well, what's TBH? I'm ours. What's TBH? To be honest, this is the very first time, thanks to Rebelli's nifladik shiurim, I did it each and every day without missing a single daf. And was able to make, listen to this, my very first real siyum in 56 years. Here's a picture of the guy I'll show you in a second. My very first real siyum in 56 years because he didn't miss a single daf. I made it a habit and just didn't go to sleep before the daf is done. Oh! No matter the time or circumstance. That's the thing, to make it a habit. If you make it a real habit and it becomes part of you, thanks to the most amazing share. I love the emails. He loves the emails, jokes, and all the Mosa Haskell that gets infused. I find myself repeating so many quotes to friends in shul and at simcha gatherings. Also, was Baruch Hashem Zoich to attend and see Rebelli personally on my very first time as shir, see him at the big event Motzei Shabbos. An extremely uplifting experience from the entire tzibur, made up of all walks of life, united as one. Chazak ve'matz, Shekoy after Rebelli, his family, and the entire MDY staff, work behind the scenes around the clock, give Klal Yisrael the most amazing gift. Here he is, Rabbi Isai. I guess he's the one sitting down, the 56-year-old. This is, what's his name? Zalman? He came. This is the first time in 3 years that he left his house, the one on the right. Really, really difficult for him to communicate and everything. Oh, and he said at the end of his email, thank you for coming over to... No, it must be on the bottom of this thing. Hold on. If I could get out of it. Okay, I forgot. It's on the bottom of that email. It says his name and everything. Rabbi Isai, as you know, real quickly, my son Akiva and Aaron started doing the daf. Because they only got, one got $12,000 to do it, the other one got $20,000. We're not talking about the money part. They're doing the daf. So my son Akiva sent us this video. He has a cat. It looks like the cat is very, very into the daf now. Very. Check this out. He's mamish into it. Oh, and now finally, I gotta preface this. I used to be a decent snowboarder. I used to play basketball. During COVID, because I didn't play ball in a year, when I went back on the court, I couldn't move, I couldn't do anything the next day, and then I had to give it up. Last year, I had a big knee injury. I couldn't even walk. I was literally on crutches. Benny used to pick me up twice a day and bring me back, this, that, the whole thing. I thought I needed surgery. I still need surgery. I need a knee replacement. Basically, and then my knee started growing this way. It's a mess. So with the Rosh Kollel, the Rosh Kollel brought me a device. I said, I want to practice. I want to have a goal. I want to be able to do a 180 back on the snowboard. To do a 180, it's most people don't do it. So I worked. My goal, I had to work out every day to work out my knee and this and that to do the 180. I got there, I couldn't do it. At first I was like, I can't. It's just after all that, I thought I could do it, and not. But this is it. At the finally second day, after falling a few times, hitting my head on the snow. It's not the great. Yeah, Sheva Yipol snowboarder Verkom. Very good. It's not the greatest. I'm not showing off. I'm just saying Yishkoyach to Mark Ashkenazi and the Rosh Kollel for getting me that device, that workout thing. Here it is. Oy vey. Good. Hold on. It's not that great. Okay. It's fun. It's gewaldig. There's no snow. To my mazel, you know when it snowed? On the way to the airport, it started snowing. Out of 350 trails or something, only 20 of them were open. So everybody was, and this is MDY. I love this license plate. This is a great picture. Boys, you're gonna love this one. It's such a great picture. Look at them. They're mamish. Chaverschaft. A modernische guy on the left, a Hasidische guy on the right. Okay, weiter. Let's go. Oh, that's right. I have to give Mazel Tov to the Rowan. Mazel Tov. Sorry, Mr. Chasana. And what else? I know there's people there. We got to learn some Torah. Let's go. We're holding the last words in Daf Amud Beis. An amazing. Oh, if anybody knows of an editor, or you're an editor, this is how we found our great editor, Kobe Goldschmidt, the Hebrew editor. We need editor for Hebrew. We need editor for English. We're looking for editors, people that with experience. Doesn't have to be the crazy experience. We'll still teach you on the job and everything, but we will. Okay. So, Rabbi Isai, a great riddle here. Mom is great. Yosef Ermin yesterday, pretty much, he was able to get it on his own. How is it possible that a person gets killed for being over on Ishes Ish, but the woman he was with is still mutter to her Cohn husband? And we know that a Cohn is usher to be with his wife even if she was a oinus. So how is it possible that the Cohn is still mutter to his wife, but we kill the guy? So Yosef started saying yesterday that maybe the husband testified against his own wife, and therefore we have a concept of Palgin and Dibura. It's very good. It was a very nice guess. That's why I said I don't believe he saw and knew about this. I told him he's wrong, because you're right, we do Palgin and Dibura, but when the husband himself says that my wife was Mizana, that's called Shavi al Nafshech Haticha de Yisura. So he would be Asr anyways, because he made an Isra on his wife. But if we take that idea and we go a little bit differently, the Karev, her own brother, let's say, testifies about her, that she was Mizana with him. So him we kill together with another aid. So we have two aidim, and one aid is a brother, one aid is not a brother. We kill the guy because they both testify he was mizana. We cannot kill her or do anything to her or even make her also on her own husband, even though her husband is a Cohn, because he's a relative and we don't trust him when it comes to her. We only trust him when it comes to him. It's a peldic thing, it's a gevaldic chiddush. If just for that it was worth coming to the shir, we could close the Gemaras now. But there's a little bit more fun stuff here. Omar Rava. Daf Yud, Amud Aleph, we're already holding Daf Yud, Amud Aleph. Two words on the bottom if you want to do those two words inside. So here's the musa called Palgina Debura. Pliny Baalishti, so and so was mizana with my wife. Huva acher mitztar from the hargoy. It's a peladika chiddush. A man could go with another guy and be mitztar, come together to be edim to kill the noyef, even though it involves his own wife. Avaloi lahargo, we don't kill her. Michael Mashma, what's the big chiddush? The Palgina Dibura that you do, Palgina Dibura, that you cut his statement in half. You use one part. The Pliny was a what? What happened? I didn't get there even? Oh, wow. We're not getting anywhere today. Refuah Shalom for Yosef, Chaim, Shmuel Ben Alte Nechama from his grateful family. That's the Masechta. Another Masechta sponsor for Hatzlacha, Berukhaniyos, V'gashmiyos, the best Masechta sponsor of all time. Third Masechta sponsor, Larry Cohn, a member of Yechiel Moshe Ben Chaim, who started learning Daf Yomi at age 70 and continued for 32 years until he was nifter. Parnassa chodesh. You know what? I'm thinking to myself now. First time I never thought about it. He was zoicha to live to 103 because he started learning Torah. Imagine he wouldn't learn Torah. Maybe, what would he be doing? The retired guy sitting on his porch, looking around. Shalom Aleichem, guys. Oh, that's why you wanted the sponsors Leibi. You didn't give a davar. He wants to say hello to his father. For the fourth sponsor for the unity of the Jewish people, the parnassa chodesh of the month, we have 5 of them. For fasting complete refuah sheleyma for Shmuel Nechemia Ben Hinda Amen, Eli Stefansky Bas Dvora, Eli Ben מאיר Ben Zev David Hashem Yikom Damai, Eli Zechraya Ben Moshe, Eli Chaya Bas Yosef, and Yosef Ben Chaya Sara for parnassa berevach. We have 2 sponsors of the day. Malkie and Yaakov Zekan, Lili Nishmas, Bracha Esther Bas Raga, and by Shalom Korn, happy belated birthday to Yosef Korn, who listens to your Daf Yomi shir every day. Mazel Tov. And the art of the month, we have 2 of them now. For Zchus for rebelling, the whole MDY staff to continue to make Torah so enjoyable for so many, and in honor of Yossi Klein and Mark Ashkenazi for all the work they do. Says the Gemara, Michael Mashvel, and what's the big chiddush? The Falgin Dibura, that you're Bidibura, that you split up a sentence. Hainu Hach, that's exactly the same case as Pliny Ravani Lertzoini we had yesterday, that a person testifies that so and so he had relations with me, and I was a willing participant. We kill that guy, and we don't trust you about you. We divide the sentence in half. Rabbi Yitzchak Zilberstein, as a Shayla, I'll tell you this story. There was once a Rebbe who, the Gabayim, they get a little physical sometimes, push people around, if you're not. So a Gabbai went, and he wasn't happy with the way somebody was acting, smacked him right in the face. Okay. You're not going to do it. It's the Gabbai. Half hour later, the Gabbai announces, Meir. Okay, Meir. The Rebbe looks around and he says, but there's no minyan. He says, Rebbe, there is. Here, look. There's a minyan. He says, no, there's no minyan. The halacha is, if you smack somebody, you're not mitzvah to a minyan until you mefayis him. You have to go ask him mechila. Not mitzvah to a minyan. You are apostle for a minyan. So, Rabbi Zilberstein asks, if a guy says, so-and-so smacked me, can that guy be a chazan in Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur? It's also for him to be a chazan if he smacked somebody until he's mefayis him. So, do we do a Palgin Dibura? He goes into it. Interesting stuff, like how it applies Bizman Hazeh as Palgin Dibura. Hanuach, this is the same halacha we learned yesterday. He says, the same Adam when a guy says, so-and-so had relations with me, so it's understood that you yourself, you cannot testify by yourself that you're a bad guy. There's a Rabbi Manuel Feldman from Atlanta, when he made Aliyah, I said the story before, what's the Gishmak Maisa? He comes to what's the office called when you come here? the Misrad HaKlita, whatever it is, they say, okay, how do we know you're Jewish? He says, I'm a rabbi in Atlanta for 40 years. What are you, Jewish? He says, no, we need a letter from a rabbi that you are Jewish. He says, look at your list. I'm one of those rabbis that writes letters for everybody else. I decided that 5,000 people are Jewish. What are you telling me? He said, no, but you need another rabbi. A person's carved it's not small. I don't know, they didn't say that. The guy didn't say but that's what he meant. It is? It's a man of Feldman. He writes in his book. He writes in his own book. It's a it didn't listen. If Rebbe Wine talks about Moshe Rabbeinu, doesn't mean it didn't happen to Moshe Rabbeinu. He's saying over a Ma'aseh that happened about Moshe Rabbeinu. Rebbe Wine is saying a Ma'aseh about Rebbe Feldman. What?
He said it about himself.
He said it about himself. And before Shemaisa. Okay, great. So good. So we have back up to these Ma'ases already. They're not Ma'ases. I'll tell you, these are Ma'ases. Says the Gemara, so I would think that a person cannot testify about himself. That makes a lot of sense. It's a lishtoi, but he could testify about his wife. A person's not that close to his wife. You are close to your wife. No matter what you think about your wife and all these things that you do with your wife, and you think she's this and this and that. Lamaisa, you're adam karib, and it's mamish. You're like one. So you can't testify about your wife. And this is, I'm talking about in the worst situation. He mamish hates his wife now because he's accusing her of all sorts of stuff, right? Talking about a ploni baal ishti. Afa pikein, you're karv with her. Ploni baal naira marasa. Buzamu. This is a terrible story. You have a naira between the age of 12 and 12 and a half. She's engaged. Engaged means she's an Eishesish in the time of the Gemara, yeah? She's Eishesish. However, if they were testifying about the girl and the guy, then both of them would be Chayiv Misa. But they never mentioned who the girl is. They want to protect her, let's say. They're just saying, this guy is a bad guy, he was over on Ishasish. With who? We're not saying who. We don't know her. We don't know her name. What's the halacha? Neheragin, so you kill them. Ve'ein mishalmin mammon. Oh, did I miss a word? V'huzmu. Sorry, v'huzmu, right. They accuse this man of being over an Ishasish, they want to kill him. Then we find out that they're liars. V'huzmu, they're imanu yisem, they were on the cruise, you cannot testify. So whatever they want to do, you do to them. They wanted to kill the woman, so we kill them. Now, ve'ein mishalmin mammon. They don't have to pay ksuba. Why would they have to pay ksuba? Well, typically, if they would kill the woman, they make her lose the ksuba. They're saying she was mizana, she loses the ksuba. But since they're not saying who the woman is, so they're not trying to hurt anybody. Nobody's losing ksuba here, so they don't have to pay. And what's the chiddush? Of course, you can't make them pay for something they didn't want to do. You can make them pay if they try to make somebody lose a ksuba, then you could be mechayiv them, but they didn't want to make her lose a ksuba. And they never mentioned anybody's name. They never mentioned a woman. The answer is, even if we find out later who this woman is, they still didn't try to hurt her. They never mentioned her. So Amela. Now, how much of a ksuba? How much ksuba should they pay? Let's say they made her lose the ksuba. How much should they pay? Oh, so like everybody said, there's no ksuba here. Let's say, for instance, let's say somebody hits a woman, and she dies. Did he make her lose a ksuba? Well, in a way, had she gotten divorced later on, she would have lost the ksuba. Had her husband died, she would have lost the ksuba. But her husband didn't die and her husband didn't divorce her, so what did she lose? She lost something called Tevis Hanal. How much is a ksuba worth today? You're looking at a young couple. He's 25, she's 23. How much is her ksuba worth today? The chances that he'll die in the next 50 years are very, very slim. The chances that he'll divorce her, maybe today it's getting worse and worse, you know, these divorces one after another, the young couples, But how much, what? It's a very bad option. How much is this option worth on the market? It's a 200 mana ksuba. It's a Mosayim ksuba. How much is it worth? It's worth maybe 5 out of the 200. I don't know how much it's worth. I'm not paying more than 5, the chances. So if these Eidim try to make her lose the ksuba, that's all they have to pay is 5. They didn't make her lose 200. She's not getting divorced anytime soon. Anyways, that's Rashi talks about. It's not important to the sugya. We go weiter. So that's in a case that we don't know who she is. But Bitoy shel Ploini, if they mention her name, now they want to kill the man and the woman. V'huzmu, and we find out that the Edom are liars. They were Huzam, they were Manu Yisem, Nerogin, or Misham and Mammon. They have to do both. They have to pay, and they die, and they have to pay. We said we have a famous concept called Kimle b'derabimine, that if you die, you don't pay. So that we said already yesterday, that's only if it's in one case, in one situation. But if it's in two different places, two different gufim, over here, they want to kill the woman. And who do they want to make lose the ksuba? The father. Why the father? Because she's 12, between 12 and 12 and a half, he's entitled to her ksuba. Question that I had is, isn't every Kimle b'derabini on Shabbos, I showed this the chart the other day, a guy shoots an arrow, it goes Dalet Amos, and it rips a shirt. So you're chayiv on the Dalet Amos Misa, and on the shirt you're potter. Why? Because it's Kimle b'derabini. You don't die and pay. It's two different gufim. The Misa has nothing to do with the shirt. The shirt is owned by Ruvain, and the Misa is me. So Taisus talks about it. Okay, fine. It was very geschmack. I'll tell you, I was learning with my chavra. I didn't learn with him the whole week. But yesterday, on the way back from the airport, I called him. I said, I'm here. Shalom Aleichem, let's learn. So I asked him this question. So he tells me it's Taisus. So he said, my wife and my children heard. That was a good value. He says, it wasn't always like this when you started learning with me, but now, every time you ask me a question, it's usually Rishayim. He said, but you used to ask me dumb questions, kind of like that's what he meant to say. Anyway, it's good. So they heard. I said, you heard that? You heard? It stopped. You heard? Yeah. Okay, good. Right there. I don't think my wife on the chab would Rishayim. Okay, fine. Anyway.
You said
yeah.
He shoots on Shabbos and he's over for the shooting.
Yeah.
He didn't kill the guy?
No. It's don't worry about it. It's a different sugya, but it's carrying Dalet Amos and Rosh Hashanah. It's throwing an object for Amos and Rosh Hashanah. There's Akira and Anocha. We'll get there in Shabbos. Beis Hashem. You're over on Shabbos. In addition, during being over on Shabbos, you also ripped the guy's shirt. What you're saying is another story. You could say that as well. You killed somebody, and you tore his shirt. You don't have to pay for the shirt. The bullet that went through the shirt. We had a guy in Chicago, my brother-in-law, somebody I know from Chicago's father was shot, I believe was shot by an anti-Semite, and it went through his jacket and it didn't hit him. Went through his shoulder. He has a garment that has a bullet, whatever. So you kill a guy, you ruin his suit also. You ruin his life and his suit. So you only pay for the life, not for the suit.
Rambam said that someone tries to kill himself with a Chaya Misa.
Yeah.
The Chaya Misa is dead. So we got there that he's not Chaya as he falls, he breaks something.
Yeah. Okay.
At the same time.
That is when it happens at the same time. Right. Let's go. It's not the sugya. So it says in the Gemara, because it's two different people, you pay for your life, you pay for the money. Again, another very similar story. So and so had relations with an ox, so he's chayav misa for that, but he doesn't say which ox. And there were Edim Zayimim Nerogim, Ve'im and Mammon. They die, but they don't have to pay for the ox because we don't know which ox it is. They never made anybody lose an ox, even though later on we might have found out who the ox is. But if they say Shoyer Shal Pleni Vuzamu, they say this is the ox. Nerogim Umsham Mammon. In that case, they die because they kill the person. They want to kill the person, and they have to pay for the ox. The ox is owned by somebody else completely. As the Gemara Sulamali, this is the exact same case we just said before. The same thing with the arusa. It's the ksuba to the father. She's dying. It's two different people. Because we had a question. The boy Rava, Pliny Rava, Shoyri Mao. What if a person testifies about his own shar? A person, we said, he can't testify about himself, but he can testify about his dog. Why not? Maybe a person is very into his own money. Here's a guy in China, Rabbi Isai, who's very into his own money. He loved this car. So he decided he wants to be buried with his car. Him and his car are inseparable, even in death. It's a beautiful car also. I mean, I can understand why we want to be buried with such a beautiful car. People are mishugah. Okay, you got the idea? So he loved it so much, so nobody else could drive it. His family shouldn't be able to sell it for any profit. The man loved this car. Anyway, you think that, listen, but a car is one thing. What about a dog? A pet, right? Oh, I said the story, but because at the Shabbaton, this guy that used to be a priest in Colombia, and he became a ger. Yoel Gold was there. It was unbelievable. Yoel Gold was phenomenal speaker. We knew that he's a good video. He does this good. He's a great speaker. So, anyways, this Yoel Gold did a whole story about him. He brought back, I think, 600 people, but he has 2,000 followers. He brought back 600 gerim. And when he became a ger himself, so he was there at the Shabbaton. One of the stories that's on Yoel Gold's video that I saw that mamish moved me was that a guy, they're very, very poor over there, and they wanted to write a Sefer Torah. They don't have a Sefer Torah. So, what could I give to the Sefer Torah? What could I give? And he looks at his wife. He says, maybe we just sell the dog. It moved me a lot because anybody that I had a dog, my son he's still alive. This dog, Mando, it's in Los Angeles now. To sell a pet, people get so attached to their pet. It's like another family. It's hard to understand when you don't have one, but when you have one, you understand. And he went ahead and he sold it. It's like selling your child for some people. He went ahead and sold the dog to make a few bucks to say you could donate to the Sefer Torah. Anyway, so says the Gemara. All these Hasidim are looking and watching. It's like, no, fast forward. Fast forward. Magashiyot nicht gehacken hint, sie nicht emes, sucht of the meisten Mats mit Rushim, und it's gelernt, Tagin in the Bire, okay, fine. Right, let's keep on moving, this never happened. So where are we holding? I don't know. Oh, I gotta pull this out. So, boss of the boy, how the Pasha, after that's the question they answered. A person can testify that his bull had relations with another human being, and Mela, you kill the bull, you kill the guy. How do you know that when you give somebody Malkis with this, something like this, it hurts? Trust me. So here's the pasuk. When you see the pasuk, you'll understand the Gemara's kashas. This is a pasuk regarding Malkus, and it says shvatum. It's plural. 2 people, 2 judges. You can never have an even number. So now we know it's 3 harekan shleisha. Ask the Gemara if it's diku. Continue the pasuk. Next word in the pasuk. If it's diku, and they shall be matzdik. That's another 2. Virshiu, another 2. So that's a total of 6. Ein bezin shakel, you have to make it 7. It's diku shnayim virshiu shnayim. Harekan shiva. You're saying it's the same words, ushvatim? No. Ushvatim.
And now those 2, it's because it's out.
Okay, whatever. The Gemara, I knew you're going to ask this kash. I could have told you that you're going to ask this kash. Which I did once before. Harekan Shiva. It was unbelievable. Do you guys want to hear the story? Chaya, we were in Chaniche. Noam asked me a kash in the middle of Shir, and I showed him the Gemara. It said like this, Bezelash and Kedasim Yizaid. Kan Shoel Noam. This and this and this and that. It said it in my Gemara. In my Gemara, I wrote it down. I gave it to him. Chaya. I know we know each other for so many years. I know all this kasha. I can tell you. I knew he was going to have. And this was a different style kasha. That kasha was what is it called? That when you already know something, then no. When the Mishnah says thing, loizu avzu. It was a loizu avzu question. Harekan shiva. I'm a boy like kidu no, so it says the Gemara, unbelievable thing. Not like Noam thought. The Gemara is actually changing it. Ushvatum is talking about the Dayanim. Vidzdiku is talking about the Eidim. It's not even talking about the Dayanim. Then what? How do I see a hint in the Torah about Eidim Zayimim? Remez Leidim Zayimim. What do you mean? Where's the hint? Voksiv Kasher Zamam. It's a Mefurish pasuk. Elo remez la'edim zayim shaloikin minayin. How do I know that an eid zayim gets malchus? We know that if a person is a zoymim, he wants to kill somebody, he says false testimony about somebody that person should die, you kill him. He says money, but sometimes you give him malchus. What is the case that we're even talking about? Says Rashi, here's Rashi, you can look at the chart if you want. Sometimes you cannot do azam at all. When somebody says, Shu ben grusha, you testify, oh, this Cohn is not a good Cohn, he's the son of a grusha, he's a chalal. So now what do you do to the guy? If he's Yisrael, of course he can't do anything. But even if the witnesses are kohanim, and they're trying to get another Cohn out of his kuna, they don't become ben grushas. They don't become chalal. Why? Because the Gemara Malkie says you could only give zaymimim to a person, not his generations. And what you're doing now is you're making all the generations halal. You can't do that. So what do you do? What do you do to a guy like that? Give him malchus. How do you know that in the pasuk? Hold on a second. Says in the pasuk, you make the tzaddik a tzaddik, v'yeshus harasha, you make the rasha rasha. As the Gemara, because he made a guy tzaddik, that's why this guy should get a malchus. I get it. He's a v'yeshus harasha is great, but what's v'tzdikus tzaddik? Why do you get malchus for that? You get malchus for that? Elo, what's pshat is eidim v'yeshus tzaddik. Check this out. Here we go. Here, you have a tzaddik. Call eidim. And they say he's a rasha. Okay? So two of them come in and they toss these guys out. Why? And now they say he's not a rasha, he's a tzaddik. That's what it means. There's two sets of Edom. The second set makes the original tzaddik a tzaddik. He was a tzaddik. Two guys come in and say that he's a rasha, but those two guys were on a cruise ship. On a cruise ship. So the original guy remains a tzaddik. He's not a rosh anymore. So how do I know that I give the guys that were thrown out the window, I give them malchus? That's what it means with tzdiku tzaddik. That we're talking about there's another set of edim. So we're not talking about, so now we go back to this. You're asking me from this pasuk, it seems like that there's 6 judges. No. There's 2 judges, V'tzdiku v'Reshiu, we're talking about the Eidim, that sometimes they get malchus. It says Gemara, but they believe in Loisana. Where does it say Loisana? Loisana b'reicha choker. Where does it say, Rabbi Say? Nobody together? All the Israelis knew this and you guys don't. Where does it say Loisana b'reicha choker? Yishkach. Aseres HaDibros. Yevaldik. Now, Aseres HaDibros, we all know that Aseres HaDibros, as we just proved. So it says Lisana, you're not allowed to say falsehood. If you say falsehood, you get a whip. It's a lav. But it's a lav shein by maisa. They didn't take action, they didn't eat chaylev. It's mamsha mazel, Rabbi said that lav shein by maisa, you don't get malchus. Shalom aleichem. How you doing? Why is it a big mazel that we don't get malchus in lav shein by maisa? Because every single one of us, we get malchus every single day for talking lashon hara, let's say. Every day. So bend down, 39, boom, boom, boom. It would be a big mess. So Baruch Hashem. Maybe nobody talk lashon hara. Malchus, you get 23. So we just learn from the death penalty. Death penalty, capital punishment is in a bezin of 23. So to Malchus. By Malchus it says, harasha. It says by Misa, Ashahu Rasha, Lama says the word Rasha, 23. Malchus is instead of the death penalty. Says Rashi, Rabbi said, you have to remember this Rashi for the rest of your life. I forgot to show it to the Israelis yesterday for the Hebrew Shir. I was in a different world. Malchus I had this already, it was ready. Listen to this, Rabbi. You're not going to believe this. A lot of you say, oh, it's a little harsh. No? If I light a fire, I drive a car in Shabbos, I deserve the death penalty? What kind of business is this? It's a little harsh. The Torah is, I don't know. It says Rashi, the kiv in Dalvar al-Azar as boiroi. You do against your boira, your creator. You went against your creator. First you have to realize he's your creator. You go against his word. He told you to do something, you go against it. Roi hu lamos. It's not a little harsh. You deserve to die. Umisu zuk knas olav akosov. And listen to what Rashi says. It's like one of the 4 death penalties. The skill means there's a 5th one. It's called Malkus. It's one of the 5 death penalties. It's in debt. Why? Hashem said, don't say a lie, don't testify falsely. You testify falsely, death penalty. Don't ask any questions. Because boirai. So why do you always have to look at a guy and say, could he take the 39 Malkis? Not, who cares? Give him the 39. Be let him die. It's one of the penalties. It's one of the 5 penalties. You never said, oh, if we stone him, he might die. Yeah, he dies. That's part of the thing. There's a special word here called my brother, achi. You only could hit somebody that's alive, that he's going to live. There's a guy, and I just want to say this, throw it out there, it's not Sonegay here, but in the middle of the Shabbaton, by Kabbalah Shabbos, a guy started having a heart issue. He looks at Avremi, and he tells Avremi, my heart, and he was in a wheelchair, he wasn't so healthy. So Avremi says, okay, and all the guys come, they take him out, and they tell him, okay, we're going to the hospital. He says, I'm not going to the hospital. I paid for the Shabbaton. I'm staying right here. So they said, so Mark Ashkenazi says, forget the money. I'm refunding you the money. You could go. He says, it's not the money. I want to be at the Shabbaton. He almost got a heart attack from the beautiful, the choir at Kabbalah Shabbos. My son also almost got a heart attack.
He stayed, the guy.
He certainly stayed. I don't know if this is what I'm trying to, this reminded me. I don't know if he's alive. I don't know what happened over there. Says the Gemara, I'm doing the Kabbalah Esrim.
He said he'd rather be the first guy to die at the Shabbaton than go to the hospital.
Come on. He'd rather be the first person to die at the Shabbaton than go to the hospital. We have a whole Amud, and we have minus 4 minutes. We're learning musig after musig. When it comes to Malkus, the only way you can give Malkus is like this: 7 plus 7 plus 7. You give 14 on the back, 7 on the front, a total of 21. If you could only give a guy 6 on the back, 6 on the front, and 14 on the back, you can't give him out. You can't do that. So you have to drop it down to how much? Let's say you know that if you give him 21, he's going to die. You can't give him. You can't give him 20 because it's not divisible by 3. So you have to be divisible by 3. So you go down to 18. Ask the Gemara, what's the big deal? Give him 21, and if he dies, he dies. Why? Start hitting him. Give him 21. And if he dies at that 21, let him die. You said the whole problem is he's a chicha. Here, he's a lie, he's a chicha. He was a chicha when you gave it to him, and it's all good. Says Gemara, no, an upshat. He has to be your brother after you're done. He can't die after you're done. He has to be alive when you're done. Okay. Rabbi said it's unbelievable. We're doing this great chiddush here, a great sugya, with minus time. But that's how it works sometimes. Turning to the Daf Kislev Innovations, I'll see an honor my uncle Rabbi Cohn Pressman, official. Should be schus v'akiv woman feigo, shidduch for Rivki Yehudis v'asef Chaya. A great girl. If anybody has a shidduch, I met her. She's actually great. Yechiel Stefansky plus all the brachas. Danny Fine and Rob Ernst of Elite Israel Realty. Welcome to all the new Olim, proudly standing with you on your journey to finishing shots together. So, it's very, very simple. We're not going to go into the deep things. It's mamish simple. We know there's a lunar year that's 254 days. We know there's a solar year, 365 days. What did I say? 354 and a bit. And then it's 0.6. There's a solar year that's also a little off. Great. The non-Jews, they go with the solar year. The Arabs go with the lunar year. The Jews go with both. We use the lunar year for Rosh Chodesh, and we use the solar year for Yom Tovim and everything like that for the full year. And we like to line up the lunar with the solar, so we have the seasons. Chodesh Aviv, it has to be Aviv, it has to be a certain season. You can't. So the problem is that a typical lunar month is 29 days, 12 hours, and Tov Reish Tzadik Gimel Chalakim, which means 44 minutes. So you can't just add a day and a this, because it doesn't really add up. You have the 12 and you can't do months with half days. So every once in a while, we do a month of 30 days and a month of 29. Rashi just says you cannot do more than 30 days per year, because then you'll have a situation where the Moilad is 3 days after, it will be a difference of 3 days, and people will say Bezin are no good. That's not important to the sugya. What's important is that we do something called Ibr Chodesh. There are months that are 29, and there are months that are 30. That we all know, right? Great. So says the Gemara. It says in the Mishnah that Ibur Chodesh, just to see the list again, why not? There's Ibur Chodesh. Number 12 is Ibur Chodesh. You need 3. What does Ibur mean? What does the word mean? Kiddush HaChodesh, we know what it means. What is Kiddush HaChodesh? You interviewed the Eidim that testified that they saw the moon, and the Abbezin says, Kiddush, Mekudesh, Mekudesh. We know Chishuv Chodesh means they have to calculate. What does Ibur Chodesh mean? Ibur means the 30th day. The 30th day is part of the previous month. That's Ibur. Ibur, like a pregnancy, like it's a little bit extended. It's not 29 days, it's 30 days. The 30th day is part of the previous month. Rosh Chodesh on the 31st month. But what is Ibur Chodesh? What do you have 3 guys doing what? 3 dayanim. What are they doing exactly? Chishuv Lokatani. It doesn't say that they're calculating whether you should do it or not, which is actually one of the tirutzim in the Gemara that's exactly what it means. Okay. Kiddush Lokatani. And it doesn't say that they're saying that they interrogated the Eidim and that they said Mekudesh Mekudesh. Ella Ibur. So why do you need 3? Lo Ilikache. They shouldn't make the 30th day Rosh Chodesh. If they do the 31st day Rosh Chodesh, then Mimelo La'aber. The 30th day would become Uber, it will become by itself. All you need to do is Rosh Chodesh on the 31st day, and what happens? The 30th day became part of the previous month on its own. You don't need any intervention. So says the Gemara, Omar Abaya. So we have a bunch of tirutzim here. I just want to show you what I did this morning. Just to Benny, you're here. Okay, cool. So yesterday we didn't have this. We have 3 shittas really. When do you do Kiddush HaChodesh? Abai says you can do Kiddush HaChodesh on the 30th or the 31st. Rebbe Elazar says you never do Kiddush HaChodesh. That's when you do for Yovel. You don't do anything. When it comes to Rosh Chodesh, you never do Kiddush. And then you have Rava who says 30 and Rebbe Nachman says 31. Abai says 30 and 31. Rebbe Elazar says 0. So you have 4 shittas here really. Abaya, Omar Abaya, Tani Kiddush HaChodesh. You have to take a word out of the Mishnah and replace it. Instead of the word Ibur, you take it and you make it into Kiddush. Tani Namahachi, I'll prove it to you. It says Kiddush HaChodesh. V'Ibur Hashana, B'Shloish, it says Mefurish. You need 3 people for the Kiddush HaChodesh. Divir Meir. Omar Rava, V'Ibur Katani. Says Rashi, we have to see this Rashi. I know that we're mamish late. I apologize. Mamish. I don't have the Rashi here, so we'll just see inside. However, Katani, Derech Tana Toya, a Tana can make a mistake, Begirsa, Lechaser Teva, they shikha. Sometimes he forgets, he misses a word. He'll never make a mistake in a word, in a completely different musag, in a Mishnah. So says the Gemara, Elo Marava, Kiddush Biyoim Ibur B'Shloisha. The Kiddush on the day, we have to add words. He adds. You could add. You could, but not replace a word with a different word. Kiddush b'yom ibur b'shloisha. When you do the ibur on the 30th day, it's b'shloisha. By the way, real quickly, the Yerushalmi says, and everybody knows this, that when Chachamim decide that a certain month is Rosh Chodesh is on the 31st day, not the 30th, then a physical change happens in the world. So, l'mashal, why besulim of a 3-year-old, if a 3-year-old was nenas. So depending on when Rosh Chodesh is, let's say she was nenas right before Rosh Chodesh or right after Rosh Chodesh, and a 1-day difference, her besul will come back physically according to the Gemara. So says the Gemara, by the way, we're talking about Chodesh, that's one of the things the Yevanim wanted to, I forgot to say Feilch and Chanukah to everybody, one of the things the Yevanim want to get rid of is Chodesh, this idea, right? Sorry, we already did that. On the 31st day, Leka. So look at this chart again. Rav is the one that says that you do Kiddush HaChodesh only on day 30, not on day 31. Achar Ibur. What's Ibur? Again, Ibur means day 30. So Achar Ibur, day 31, like a Kiddush. Mani, Rebbe Elazar ben Tzadiki, that goes according to Rebbe Elazar ben Tzadiki, it's not Rebbe Elazar ben Tzadiki, Oimer, Im lo nir bizmano im ikachanoisai. If you don't see the moon on its time, you don't have to do Kiddush on 31st day. Why? Shikva Kichu Bashamayim. It's already 31. Shamayim already did it. Rebbe Nachman Omar Kiddush Acher Ibur B'Shloisha. On day 31, as you see in the chart, you do a Kiddush. So Rav is the one to say day 30. He says 31. B'Yoyim Ibur like a Kiddush. So he says the Pshat in the Mishnah, same thing like Rava, but on a different day, on 31. B'Yoyim Ibur like a Kiddush. Umani Pleimahi. On day 30, you don't do Kiddush HaChodesh. On day 31, you do, and that's Pleimahi. The sign you Pleimahi, you don't need to be mechazik. According to Pleimahi, there's no such thing as Kiddush. Midaraisa, just Chacham said you should be mekadosh HaChodesh. So on day 30, you don't need a chizuk. Shlei bizmanoi. On day 31, mekachanois, you do need a chizuk. And finally, Rashi Yom Elohim Chishuv Ketani. It actually says, it really means in the Mishnah, the word Ibur means Chishuv, calculation. The Chacham sit down. Should we do it? Should we not do it? Sometimes it should be Rosh Chodesh, but they say it's not Rosh Chodesh. Why? Because it doesn't fit in with the Yom Kippur. It will be a 2-day Yom Kippur. Whatever it is, they decide. Elohim Chishuv Ketani. And what does the word Ibur mean? Chishuv the Ibur. Now, why would the Mishnah use such a funny language? Chishuv the Ibur. So if you take a look at this chart, 12 and 13, they say one says Ibur Chodesh, one says Ibur Shana. That's in our Mishnah. So because 13 is Ibur Shana, so also on 12, it's Ibur Chodesh. But really what the Mishnah wanted to say is Chishuv Chodesh. It's just the same word. It's easier to remember. Chishuv the Ibur. Ibur Chodesh. Chishuv Chodesh says Gemara, you could calculate Rosh Chodesh, Kiddush Chodesh Loi. You never say Mekudesh Mekudesh, this Chodesh. Mani, Rebbe Elazar. The Sanya, that's the Rebbe Elazar all the way on the left. Bein Bizmani, Bein Shalom Bizmani. What on the 30th day, the 31st day? Ein Mekachanoi, so you never said this Chodesh is Mekudesh. Shenemar, V'kidasim, Ishnas, HaChamishim Shana, Shana Matam Mekadesh, V'i Atom Mekadesh Chodashim. You could sanctify, say this year, the 50th year is Yovel, but not a month. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day. Motzi Shabbos at regular, whatever that is, 8:30. Yishkoyach, whole guest. Thank you for coming. I'm still hoarse.